Hello, I'm Dick Alliott, and I'd like to take a few minutes of your time to tell you a story, a valley-wide story about the Valley United Way. These people are part of the United Way. They make up the Allocations Committee and are just a few of the 400 volunteers who work for the United Way in the Valley. The members of the Allocations Committee give freely of their time, frequently meeting to decide on which United Way agencies will receive money raised through this year's campaign and how much money those agencies will receive. The members of the Allocations Committee often visit those agencies and find their trips to be rewarding. It's inside those agencies they'll see the light in the eyes of an elderly person, the relief on the face of a young mother, or the glee in the laugh of a child. The Allocations Committee members have also learned that the work of the United Way reached out to help people far beyond the agency walls. A watermark on the screen of Joe Fernandez's porch is a constant reminder to him of the flood which nearly destroyed his home. Fernandez lives on the banks of the Housatonic River in Shelton, and he, along with his neighbors, had their lives uprooted when the river overflowed in May.
Oh, boy. Now, when I think about it, it was a total wreck. We lost, I would say, about three-quarters of our stuff. You know, we lost out on it. And the house is still a mess, yeah.
Fernandez, who was a volunteer at the Vietnam Veterans Center in Shelton, recalled how he had to seek shelter at the center after the flood. He, along with many neighbors, was able to sleep and eat at the center for nearly 14 days, thanks to the efforts of the American Red Cross, an organization funded by the United Way.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. When I first heard about the American Red Cross, I just thought it was for blood donations and all. But for what they'd done on that building, you just can't beat them. They were fantastic. They gave us food. They gave us cots to sleep on. They took care of our every needs. And then when we was all over, they gave us vouchers for furniture, for clothes. And, you know, you just can't explain how they did. But they did great.
And that greatness, Fernandez says, is something he will remember for a long, long time. Or at least as long as he continues to make his home by the banks where the river flows. As you probably can tell, each United Way agency serves a different need. Sometimes it can be an educational one, as with the newly formed Emergency Medical Tech Team, which operates out of Griffin Hospital in Durban. Mark Neuendorf and Dave Manley are members of the Paramedic Response Team. Both are volunteers in this program, which features in-depth training, partially funded by the United Way. Dave is an emergency medical technician. He has trained for this job for 81 hours. Mark, on the other hand, is a paramedic and has trained for nearly 500 hours. There are 9 volunteer paramedics in the Valley who work out of the Griffin Hospital in Derby. Donating 16 hours a week to the job, they serve a valuable function for patients on the outside who need emergency medical care. Responding to emergency dispatch calls, they frequently aid the victims of trauma or sudden illness. The paramedic response unit teams have existed in the Valley for only a year, but in that year, the teams have filled a void in the community, a void that could not have been filled without hundreds of hours of training that, in part, was made possible because of the United Way. It should be obvious by now that the volunteers, the many volunteers of United Way, serve in a different way. Sometimes they spend their time inside Valley area businesses, spreading the good word about the work of the United Way. Ray Lennox is a senior project administrator at the Vicks Research Center in Shelton. Vicks manufactures beauty and skincare products. At Vicks, Ray's responsibilities include coordinating and scheduling research projects for the marketing and manufacturing departments. But Ray also has another job at his company. He is a volunteer worker for the United Way, asking for donations during the United Way fundraising campaign. This is the second year Ray has solicited funds for the United Way, and he says at Vicks the job has been easy.
I think everyone is aware of what a good job United Way does, and there was really no questions. We try to explain who benefits from the program, and it always turns out to be everyone involved benefits, contributors and those who don't contribute themselves.
Ray says as far as his own personal experiences are concerned, he has indirectly benefited from the United Way through his membership at the Valley YMCA. So, in his own way, Ray has had a first-hand look at the United Way, making his job of raising money for the organization one that he not only enjoys, but believes in. Lowell King of Farrells in Ansonia is another United Way worker, volunteering his time in the same capacity as Ray. Lowell says the reaction of Farrell employees to the United Way makes his job a pleasurable one.
It's a good reaction. We basically I feel we get close to 100% participation. They feel the way I do, that it's our community, so we have to get out there and help it.
Lowell, who is president of the local steelworkers union at Farrells, has collected money from fellow employees for the United Way for 10 years. He says he could do it for another 10 because he thinks the United Way is worth it. It's no secret those volunteers, like all United Way volunteers, work hard, giving hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars worth of expertise to just one cause, keeping the Valley a great place to live. But without you and your donations, their work would be in vain. So this year, please give to the United Way. Nearly every penny of every dollar that you donate goes directly to serve the people of the Valley. And there's no greater investment than an investment in people.